Alright, welcome back to Fire Emblem Echoes. We're actually going to be starting the DLC today.
I don't think I ever played the DLC.
Yep, I did not at the time either. But I will say, pretty interesting. We're starting with one original character for Echoes and one returning from Gaiden.
If there's anything Echoes did right, it was its original characters.
I see him. This was Slayde's foul-up, and his alone. Why do the Knights of Sophia ride out to clean up his mess?
What choice is there? Sophia needs her harbor to conduct trade.
This takes place, of course, between the initial prologue we played and the game actually starting. So, hey, we're not in all-out war yet. It's not terrible.
Understand the problem, Clive. It's the solution that invites my choler. Had the Knights ridden to address the traitors instead of that fool Slayde?
And unfortunately, Slayde still exists.
But instead, we find ourselves in the middle of a truly sorry mess. All because that obsequious worm desired the honor for himself. The Muttonhead was probably looking for concessions at the harbor as a reward for such brave service.
Aggressive use of quotes there.
I'm glad we immediately get somebody who is just absolutely sick of Slayde shit.
The gall! I hope the sellswords carve him up and feed him to the fish.
Are you quite finished? The fact remains that mercenaries have been staging raids from the harbor. While I have scant praise for how Slayde has handled this,
In fact, I have only
we need to end these
insults.
raids and save the people from their plight. Now, are you with me or no?
Of course I'm with you. Don't be daft. The king bid us come after all, and it is the king I serve. And I'll tell you this much, Clive. You were wise not to bring her.
Shut the fuck up.
Not to bring who?
Claire, of course.
I thought you were
If
talking
like
about
me,
Matilda,
Cross,
but you know what?
imagine
Still
how
fuck
your
you.
sister would feel about Slayde's idiocy.
No, she'd be too aggro. We
We
can't actually murder Slayde, unfortunately.
I still get all
They would both
sorts
be
just
too
knowing that
aggro.
she's joined the Knights. One day, her hoydenism will get the best of her.
Somebody busted
My
out the
words.
thesaurus for Hoydenism.
Captain of the world's finest.
They once had that, like, on a Trivia of the Day thing.
At least I can
Oh, no. They figured it out in a spelling bee, and they were just proud of it, and figured, alright, now it's time to bust out Hoydenism.
Within the month. At first, I roiled at the idea of Father's new marriage. It felt somehow rushed, even coming a dozen odd years after Mother's death. Still, it's hard not to adore any sibling who barely comes up to your knee. My next furlough cannot arrive soon enough.
You'll have to introduce me.
You and Claire are always welcome at our house. You know that. I know both the little ones would love her rambunctious side.
Kindly don't remind Claire that she has a rambunctious side. Ah, there's the water.
Enough of our backstory and our amazing friendship. Unfortunately, here's this man.
Man, it sure would be nice if that backstory was in the main
Finally,
game,
I
huh?
thought you'd never come. Well met, Sir Clive. You're a true friend to aid me so. Now, scatter these barbarians to the wind, would you?
The man is shameless.
Traitors!
Wait, we haven't betrayed any. Traitors with a D. Oh, sorry.
Maybe you should say merchants from now on.
If you lay down arms now, you have my word that you will not be harmed. This is your last chance. Open the harbor.
Stop having it be
And what's
closed.
your word worth? We begged the king to rid us of the pirates, and he did nothing.
If we open the harbor, the pirates will kick our ass.
Endless drought. Yet what little makes it here to port gets hauled away to the capital. Then the king also takes our gold by raising taxes. Does he wish us starved?
I cannot speak to the king's mind.
Your men are the ones who attacked us without so much as hearing our peace.
Alright, well, we fucked this up from the beginning. Oh no.
To arms, men! Kill them all! Don't leave a single knight standing!
So how many words did this take you, Slayde? How many words did it take you to get this guy to be at this murder mode?
I knew Slayde
He's
was
at this
bugging
high
things
level
before we
pissed.
arrived. Well, do we help him?
Do we really have a choice? Let's go. We must keep him alive.
Alright, so we begin the battle proper, which means we get to get a little more into the battle system this time around. I'll take a brief look at everybody's stats and their moves, but I'm not going to get too in-depth in all of them because we're not going to be introduced to them properly until we actually start the main game. For the time being, though, first and foremost, you might think, hey, it's a great idea to charge that archer over there. Well, I've got a very strange order to introducing everything, but first thing I'm going to mention is archers can counter you from up close in Echoes. No, they don't need close counter. They can just do that.
Allow me.
Yeah, just watch. He has a hit percentage. He has might. He can attack back.
Fucking Echoes has finally done it. Archers that are in fact trained in hand-to-hand combat. Drill is weeping.
The madmen. So yeah, this is of course very different because typically archers have to have a range of at least 2. This isn't going to be relevant for a little while. However, don't think that means that any Pegasus Knights you find are going to die horribly. At least not immediately. They don't have effective damage against flying units until they have actual equipment. But it also doesn't matter to this group anyway, so you don't need to worry about it. And of course, just like in the graveyard, positioning matters. I've placed my characters on top of these chests of oranges. Yeah, that's just boxes of oranges everywhere. That, of course, will increase evasion. And I believe heal as well. I think that's actually a supply spot. Alright, so let's see. What else? What other basic things should I bring up?
Hey, do you want to explain the weapon triangle?
Oh, I'd love to! It didn't exist when Gaiden came out. So...
What?
While Shadow Dragon added the weapon triangle back in, Fire Emblem Echoes just decided, nah. Nah, let's not have that.
Yeah, Echoes decided to just kill the weapon triangle. It doesn't exist anymore. It's not in 3 houses.
There is sort of a replacement in 3 houses. It's all skill-based, so like, you'll have your axe breaker skills and stuff like that to make specific weapons effective against other specific weapons, so it's kind of there in spirit, but like, it's not there in the base game. You can just use any weapon. And weapons are a little more... like, they focus on the original balance that they had, whereas axes are powerful but hard to hit with, or at least, I'm talking about 3 houses right now, just so you know. Swords are balanced, spears are a little weaker but a little more accurate, that sort of thing. And I specified in 3 houses. That's because this game only sort of has weapons as well. Obviously, everybody's equipped with something. However, each character only has 1 slot for anything, for healing items, or for weapons. Now, you don't need a weapon equipped in order to fight, unlike most Fire Emblem games. Each class automatically has some kind of weapon, or some kind of attack. Magic users are a bit different, they have magic. But yeah, if you are a sword-wielding class, you'll just have a sword no matter what. You might want to equip a steel sword for extra moves and just better stats, but you don't need a weapon. Therefore, there's also no weapon durability to worry about. So if you're not fond of weapon durability, this is your game.
Yeah, that was something that I personally really enjoyed about Echoes. Not only not having to worry about replacing and repairing weapons, but just having to worry about weapons a lot less in general.
Now, this does come with one downside. Echoes was a game that was made before Brigands were a playable class, And brigands are more or less the only class that uses axes in the game. There are no playable axe units, so that kind of sucks. Pour one out for all the axe users that could have been and should have been, but aren't. I don't remember Fire Emblem Heroes characters. I don't know if they gave anybody from Echoes any axes. But if they didn't, then that would be a weird balance in that no Fire Emblem Echoes characters would ever have axes.
Yeah.
You're just, missing half of your potential green units right there.
It is kind of a weird situation to just not have access to a weapon.
It wasn't as weird when it was the second game of the series, of course. Future me will remember if axes were... axes had to be usable. Fire Emblem 1 was a little bit weird, though. I think what I'm thinking is missing is the general class. Originally, generals were mostly not playable. Or at least you could not promote knights into them. Lorenz, I think, was still a general. And that made him very special for being such a powerful defensive character. But of course now generals are just, they're the promotion. You get them if you have a knight.
Yeah. But, imagine if you were playing Pokemon and just didn't have access to a type. Imagine a Pokemon game that just forgot to add fire types. That'd be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And then made it so types don't actually matter.
Yeah,
but,
what if that's how they balanced it?
Alright, so that's how Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to work. You don't get access to a lot of fire types still, but don't worry, none of the types do anything at all.
Now that was enjoyable.
I'm not sure if this is the right way of thinking about it, but I feel like the weapons triangle kind of replaced actual tactics and strategy in Fire Emblem. Because it turns out when you remove it, all you're left with is positioning, ordering of attacks. You have to actually think about what you're doing instead of just throwing all your swords at the axes.
To be fair, though, even that isn't a big deal by the end of, most Fire Emblem games. Also, RIP to that random soldier. Sorry, couldn't save you. You don't matter anyway. You do get rewards based on your unit survival, but green units don't matter unless they're Slayde. Slayde does have to survive, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, I feel like by the end of most Fire Emblem games with a weapon triangle, a character with good enough skill doesn't have to care anyway. Lyn doesn't exactly do the most damage in her own game, but I'll be damned if anything can hit her. There's just one point late game where I can just put her down on a fort or something and just have dozens of Pegasus Knights fly at her, and she doesn't give a fuck. Why should she? Weapon advantage? Pfft, whatever.
Phew, you made it. Well done, Sir Knights. I knew Zophia's finest would come through, so I did. And I swear to you, Sir Clive, I shall repay this debt.
Have this piece of paper that says I owe you.
How will you repay the
You didn't sign it. Oh, didn't I? Well, I should leave and get my pen then. See ya.
Begged for your life. Craven, your very existence shames all Zophian nobility. Craven?
I may be a child murderer, but Craven?
Bernard is about to throw this man into the ocean.
Call me that again. Enough, both of you.
Jesus Christ, guys. At least wait until the fight is over.
Ooh, well, it's not over yet. Jeez.
Ain't done with you yet. That didn't take long. On your
So
feet,
wait,
Slayde.
did that talking...
You're breaking through.
Was that the event
Many
flag
of
for
your
this?
fallen men.
These
Surely
reinforcements?
you can manage that much.
Yes, so, make sure Slayde is safe.
Many of them.
Just keep your position right here, then talk to him.
What if you just didn't talk to me?
Back there. I don't think I can fight.
That does sound like a nice idea.
For a wounded man, you seem to have had no problem barking orders. Shut up! say I can't fight, then I can't.
Look, they're tougher than 10-year-olds, so I can't take them on.
Duty to stay here.
Anyways, don't get used to Fernand being likable at all.
You can protect me or leave me to die.
Don't spoil it, jeez. What if somebody hasn't played like 10 minutes of the main game?
This counts as a quality of life warning. Your life will be better if you just expect Fernand to suck.
Farewell then, friends. The bards shall sing of your heroic deeds this day.
Alright, so let's see. All of these guys are going to charge now. I have marked that mage over there as the most dangerous because, yeah, magic's gonna be kind of a tough one to deal with. None of our characters are particularly resistant, and of course, mages have the whole thing of they attack with magic, which is against resistance instead of defense. So, if you've got any heavily armored characters, ooh, that's a bad day for any turtling you might have been doing. They are there to break your physical defense.
Yeah, this also retained the Gaiden magic imbalance. And that magic is stupidly overpowered.
It does come at a small price. Since durability isn't in this game, using magic, as this mage will show, takes a certain amount of HP. This is a basic fire attack, so she only lost 1 HP. Other spells can take more HP, but that being said, it's not a huge deal, especially for characters who use white magic, because there's one spell that's inaccurate, but kind of just stops making that a problem.
Yeah, the magic using health is actually something I kind of liked, just as a, I don't know, as a balancing mechanic or anything, but it was just a fun thing for magic to do. If it's going to be this overpowered, it should come at a higher cost.
Yeah, 3 Houses is a bit balanced. Technically, magic has durability, but, like, it's just spell charges for a battle, not, you have this book that you use like a weapon, and it just has durability like it was any other weapon.
And when you flip the pages too much, it just fucking disintegrates.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do have copyright protection on those books in Fire Emblem. If you read too much of it, it does just disintegrate the book.
The Mage RPAA is fucking ruthless. That's our IAA, and that's music, nothing to do with books. I don't know who the book equivalent of the RIAA is.
Oh, and one thing I should mention, double attacks in this game. You might have noticed, of course, some characters can get 2 attacks off in a single round. That is based on speed. If you have more speed than your opponent, then you can get a double attack, so speedy characters definitely have an advantage there. The number you actually have to double actually varies in a lot of the games. Let's see, I want to say it's, in this game, it is 4 or more than your opponents. We also have arts. I'm not gonna explain arts too much this time around. At the very least, you should be using them in this chapter. Of course, there is a bit of a risk to it. They do take HP as well.
Just business. No hard feelings, I hope.
So you want to use them at moments such as fighting the boss, but at the same time, if you overdo it, then you're gonna end up hurting. So hit and run here. Manages to take out the boss. Don't have to double, don't have to risk getting hit by him in order to get him. Does just enough HP, so that's why I did that. And, you know what? Hey, random Zophian soldier, you deserve getting on the heal spot this time around. You guys have actually been pulling your weights. You're not the most accurate, but you know what? You try. You got hearts.
Go ahead and take a couple of those oranges.
You can take a few of the oranges as a treat.
I don't know what country we imported these from. It only sells oranges.
Better luck next time.
Oh, this is too perfect. In my plight, I seem to have struck upon a golden opportunity.
I found the edge of the map. See you later.
Jackals.
And we're basically almost done with this chapter, dude.
Certainly never my favorite. But it's that dog Fernand who really needs to suffer. He'll be sorry he insulted me once he's rotting in hell.
Alright, well, that guy's a motherfucker. I should probably tell oh, you two heard him from that end of the map. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess.
Rats do not sink, Fernand. They scurry. What?
Personally, I think you're being too mean to rats.
I've never heard you openly disparage him. Then please allow me the joy, just this once.
Let's just bitch about our terrible co-worker who sucks and is garbage.
Our exploits today will make a thrilling tale for your dear sister tomorrow.
Just so, Clive. Just so.
I like that you say just this once, Zophian army guy, you can stay on the healing spot. Meanwhile, all the healing spots have Zophian army guys on.
Alright, so apparently that wasn't special enough, so you also get a kill. Experience does not matter here. Yeah, this is DLC, not the main game. These are characters with just pre-done stats, so... You know what, for once, the Zophian soldiers can do a thing. They're not going to get any time to shine after this.
Also, what the hell has this archer been doing? Battle's over, you've only just now shown up?
Alright, don't worry, guys. Archer's here to save the... Oh, God!
I await your word.
Alright, well, I don't really know what you expected, considering, you know, I managed to kill your boss. Also, that is clearly not the, most opportune thing to do here, so we'll just do a normal attack. We'll suffer 2 damage. Oh no. Alright, and that last green unit gets to bear witness to us taking out the enemies after his boss abandoned him.
Stand for something.
He's gonna just be sprinting up to Slayde. Boss! Boss, they survived.
They survived and they heard you talk shit about them.
How could this happen to me? I made my
How
mistakes.
could this happen?
Got nowhere to
We
run.
hired every sellsword we could afford. Now you will open the harbor. It belongs to all of Zofia, not just to you traders. You've committed a serious crime against your kingdom. You think we don't know that?
Maybe the kingdom's
sword
a crime. Have you ever
for us.
considered that, maybe?
The sword is quicker. Go on then, knight. Take my head and be done with it. It is not my place to mete out punishment.
No,
The
it kinda
rulers
is. You're
will
a
face the
knight.
king's justice for their crimes. However, I will take your grievances to His Majesty myself. I shall ask that he have the pirates driven away as you requested. And I shall also ask that he entrust this task to the Knights of Sophia personally.
Oh.
Clive.
How nice that you're going to do that thing, and it will definitely be accepted by the king.
It took you long enough. If you'd done this earlier, then you wouldn't have had this map.
Now that Slayde's gone, we can all just kind of talk a bit more peacefully.
Clive, a moment. You should not make promises you cannot keep.
And which promise is that? I can speak with the king, as I said.
Yes, you can.
You saw the king in the intro, didn't you, Clive? Look at that guy. Does that look like a man who listens to anybody?
But we've all heard the whispers. Many say he's actually in collusion with the pirates. His Majesty will be forced to heed either your words or the Chancellor's. And you know well which ones will carry the greater weight.
So you would have me rob the traitors of all hope? Is that it? No, Fernand. I will bend the knee and beg the king grant them mercy.
I will go to the king and say, pretty please help people at all.
Your Majesty, you have to do something. It's your job.
Claire is waiting for us.
You have to act!
If he beats us back, she'll likely pull him apart one limb at a time.
Again with your imagery. I only hope Matilda is there to keep her in check.
They'll both be glad to see you, Clive. Shall we be off?
Of course. If we start off now, we should make good time. Come, my friend.
Alright, and so our rewards for completing this chapter with everybody is a memory prism. What's Amelia's turn wheel? I don't know, don't ask. And we also get Fernand's lance.
Oh, joy.
Greetings, Fernand.
So, these are memory prisms. They are basically just optional cutscenes that you can collect throughout the game. These are usually like flashbacks or just, you know, scenes that the main characters otherwise would not be able to see from their point of view. So you get a bit of an early introduction to Claire here, though of course she is going to be in some of the other DLC chapters.
Because you harangued us without end. You always were keen on following Clive. Honestly, we assumed it was a phase you would grow out of. You should be looking for a husband.
There we go. There's Jackass Fernand.
On the battlefield.
Fernand, you know Matilda personally. Like, apologies to your viewers who haven't seen this whole game yet, but like, Fernand knows firsthand that being a terror on the battlefield is not going to keep you from finding your soulmate.
Yeah, hey, Fernand, your best friend is a wife guy for a night.
Like, I don't want to be too explicit about it, but if Fernand has ever spent the night in the same building as Clive and Matilda, you should know damn well how much they fuck.
It's not all bad. The knights are full of handsome, noble scions, after all. I know! Fernand, why don't you introduce me to someone? Surely you must know many suitable suitors in suits of armor.
Well, I suppose it depends on what manner of man you fancy.
Let me think.
For some reason I'm skewing garbage right now. Yeah, no, I just want to find the worst person.
My ideal man is somebody who is a great character, but is just absolutely shit to me personally. You're a really fun character who'd be perfectly fine if you didn't ever talk to me.
A character who would be great without one specific support conversation.
It certainly does. You just described your brother.
That is not true.
And you don't even realize it. Clearly you are still a child. You won't find a husband if you keep clinging to your brother in such a way.
Oh, really? And what about you? You've been clinging to my brother since before I was born, Fernand. Is there anything you should be telling me, After all, you weren't exactly scrambling to find a pretty mate of your own.
We are not talking about me.
Look, I missed my
You're
chance.
so easily shaken. I was merely teasing. Besides, Clive already told me what your true weakness is. He claims you prefer your ladies like your oranges, full and ripe.
No, that just means I like oranges. I want a woman who will feed me oranges constantly.
I'm going to find your brother and bury him in a very deep hole.
I just want somebody to dump one of those fucking crates of oranges we have on me.
I just like the image of Claire asking Clive, like, hey, what kind of girl does Fernand like? And Clive's like, oh, he likes women with the huge
Oh,
badongaroos.
Clive. The other night's been making me
Massive
feel at home.
badongaroos. Gigantic
Matilda.
didgeridoos.
Yes.
I'm assuming
everybody's
that's
been
what
very
full
kind
and right
thus
means.
far.
Probably.
The first 3 months have been naught but training.
Slightly
I'm on for
older
a
and with
fight.
titty. There you go.
Well, you'll get one.
And so anyway, this is a definitely a flashback scene with Clive and Matilda, because they both look younger than they do in the main game. Matilda a little more so. Clive looks slightly different. I think it's the hair, but also, Jesus, why is he wearing a cravat on armor?
Nobody told him no.
Let us just say you are the object of much adulation, my lady.
See, this is why. This is how you know this is his and Matilda's first meeting. He'll finally meet the person who tells him no.
This is going to end with Matilda cutting that cravat off. Also, yeah, since I've already been explicit once this episode, if Clive mentioned something about boys whispering Matilda's name before they go to sleep,
Or a beautiful woman.
and he included himself among that number. Now, I'm not here to tell you
Certainly
how to approach somebody that you're
never
crushing
more
on.
careful than when riding across
Telling
a
them
battlefield.
that you jacked off while thinking about them is not the way to go.
Only obscure
Most of the
ladies.
time, that will not work out for you.
Dower? Though it is true that I abhor walking the castle like some pretty bauble. Speaking of which, how is your sister, the one who follows you like a puppy? Whenever I would try to talk to you, she would cut in.
She's a handful, that one. You should have seen her bawl when I said I was enlisting.
That just shows her love. You're lucky. But I must confess, I'm glad we can finally have a conversation alone. If you take my meaning.
I believe I do.
It means that I hang around with Fernand all the time.
Dust of battle.
Fernand, who's just at the other end of the window right now, trying to figure out what we're talking about.
So it's
Fernand sees them from across the room. He just goes, no, 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 no.
What?
I was just thinking. The next time you do wear a dress, might I ask for a dance?
But that might be weeks. Or months.
I am a patient man, and the wait will be well worth it in the end.
Very well. A dance it is.
Truly? Thank you, milady.
You're lucky we're in a setting where Milady makes sense.
And there he goes. By the gods, is he skipping?
In full armor to boot.
I love Clive and Matilda so much.
Why am I laughing? I don't remember how to dance.
Ah, fuck, ah,
This is
shit.
going to end with me crushing his toes into paste.
Oh, don't worry, he's probably into that.